guys. All right. Thank you. Make it work. Appreciate it, guys. Let's call some people out. Rich Mikesell, Aswa Guest Pack. Is that how you say that? I've been wondering. Jerry, nice to have you. Michael, glad to have you on board. You're watching on the big screen. All right. Digging Daryl. Thank you, buddy. Randon Fawcett. Bobby Short. All right. Make it work. Called you out. Chris. Trying to get everybody. Digging Daryl. Glad to have you. Tarnished Charm. Let's see. Joe in Memphis. Glad to have you. Lance, of course. Wisco and Wisco Detect. All right. Hopefully I'm catching everybody. So good evening, guys. All right. DC Digging in the house. I'm actually using a new software today too. So I'm just sort of experimenting. I know Calabash uses a couple things. I've tried a couple of different options. So we're seeing a little bit about StreamYard. And so that's what I'm using tonight for the first time. So bear with me if I have a little bit of technical difficulty, but we're here. Ricky Bennett, glad to have you in here. All right. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, Southern Relics. Southern Relics is up in the upstate of South Carolina, where I used to live, actually. So yeah, let's get me over 200 likes. That would be great. I would greatly appreciate that. So was anybody able to get out today? I'm actually heading out tomorrow with Calabash. So hopefully we're going to have a video up, or at least have some clips up later on tomorrow or either Monday. So, and hopefully it's going to be a great hunt. We'll see. What's up, Norman? Glad to have you on board. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So one thing I wanted to do tonight, because we all know that the XP Deus update is coming. We just don't know when. And so DC Digging you, but yeah, it's been raining here too. So I didn't get out this morning, and it really didn't quit raining until about mid-afternoon. So I did some honeydew lists and did some other things around the house, and I figured I would just jump on here for a little bit, hang out with you guys for a little bit, and let's talk some metal detecting stuff. Oh wow, Charlie's 14 degrees here today. So yeah. So yeah, not very good at all. Way too cold here in Ontario, Canada. Wow, what's the temperature up in Ontario right now? I imagine it's in the teens, maybe single digits. Is it that cold, Ralph? Ralph Rosema? I'm assuming that's how your name is said. What's up? Sniff it out. Oh, you've been under the weather since Thursday. I hate to hear that. You got to get out and get into hunting for sure. Yes. Hey, Damon B, just stopping in to say hi. All right. We appreciate you being here. So, again, one thing I just wanted to touch on today, -4. Oh my gosh, that's way too cold for me. Yeah, I do really well in the cold, but once I get down below, usually when it gets down below 40, I'm not a big fan. So he says it's -4 in Ontario, Canada. Well, yeah, it's been really warm here this past week. In fact, I believe we got up to almost 80 degrees. We might have even broke 80 degrees this past week. But anyway, I didn't get a chance to get out today either. Chris, you had to work. I'm sorry, buddy. I get you. 79. You're down in Texas. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty warm. It's going to warm back up here. I think tomorrow, I think the high is going to be in the 60s. So, Calabash and I are going to be out. But the problem is now we got all this pollen flying around, and, it's the bushes and things are starting to bloom, and we got poison ivy and poison oak, which is going to start taking off, and that's just not a lot of fun. But anyway, Jerry says 40 is perfect relic hunting weather. I agree, Jerry, 100%. Definitely. That's 40 and above. I'm okay. When you drop below 40, I'm not going to probably be out there that much. Digging Daryl says he went out today, used Mental Metals Deus II coin program, worked really well. going again tomorrow after church. Good. Yeah, I know. I saw that he had set up something with using deep high conductor, which is one of my favorite programs too, as well. And yeah, deep high conductor is just it's a good program, and you can set it up all kinds of ways to do all kinds of things too. Glad to have everybody on board. We're at 31 right now. Hit that like button if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it. And any help or support to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that as well. Any super thanks or super chats, as I'm going to be trying to do a little more live stream. I'm trying to get another camera to set up so you guys can maybe I can actually do some demonstrations of some things too. So those are some of the things I'm looking forward to, and hopefully I can raise some money to do some of those things as well. But thank you guys for being here, and I appreciate it so much. And we're gonna hide that. And so Michael said he found some buttons today with the WS6, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, the WS6. Again, with the update, which is supposedly in the pipe, I think you're going to see some big changes for the WS6, some more features being added, some other things too. So that's the reason why I sort of wanted to talk a little bit about the WS6. And then the rest of the time, we can just do some generalized talking like we always do. But again, we'll try to go through some of those things. If y'all got questions, I'll try to answer them. I don't know everything about the WS6, but I know a good bit. It's one of my favorites to use, and it's one that I've got on two of my machines, which you see the two back there behind me. But I love the WS6. It's a light setup and so on. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. BK, glad to have you in here. James Letner, glad to have you on board, buddy. Appreciate it. So real quick, just to talk a little bit about the WS6. So I think that's where we're going to start at tonight. So let's talk about, what you can do with the WS6. I thought that would be a good place to start. And, you can use it on land, you can use it in the water, you can use it on the beach. You're getting the full, and I don't know that people realize this, you're getting the full, almost the full remote with the WS6. And so, you don't have to spend $1,500 to get the Deus II Performance. You can get this machine. I think it comes in at $799. So for $800, and if you probably shopped around, you might be able to find it a little bit cheaper than that. But I think that the WS6 is it's a great alternative. And if you don't want to go with the $1,500 price range, but you want a Deus II, it's definitely something that people need to using the Mind Lab or using another really good machine. But if you are thinking, even for a backup machine, it's not a bad thing either. So, I just, wanted to talk a little bit about it tonight and just explain that, hey, it's a good machine. You get a lot of performance. What are some of the things that you don't have that you do have on the regular remote? Well, number one, you don't have an external speaker. And Sharpshooter's in here right now, so we're gonna put up his. You don't have an external speaker. You don't have a backlight. It doesn't do auto tracking at this moment, so you can hunt with it out in the rain. You get a pair of those WSA XL headphones, XL2 headphones, or you get a pair of WSA headphones. Then you got a waterproof headphones, and you can go out, well, not waterproof, but rainproof headphones, and you can go out and hunt with it. So, other than not having the speaker, it doesn't have a backlight either, and not having auto tracking. Those are the three main things that you're missing. But other than that, it's the same machine. You got the full multi-frequency spectrum from 4 to 45. You got 12 programs to choose from. You can adjust the ground balance. You can adjust notch. You can adjust the equalizer. You can set the audio. You can set the tones. You can do all of those things. Thank you so much, Bobby. I appreciate that. So there is a lot that you can do with that WS6. And one way that I use it is I use it on the beach, because I can use that 13-inch coil and use that little WS6 module, and I can really lighten my load. I can even pop the WS6 puck off, and put it on a wristband or put it in my pocket if I don't want to, if I don't want to have it on the stem. And I can go, and you're talking about a machine that's probably one of the lightest in the market. And so the WS6 is definitely one that people need to really be thinking about. And just like Sharpshooter said, in the near future, the WS6 will have all the remote options. And that's a big deal. I mean, that really is. Thank you so much, Digging Daryl. I really appreciate you. But the WS6, definitely one to think about. If I know a lot of you had the Deus II and you had the full remote package, there may be somebody on here tonight that doesn't. And, that's the one thing that I wanted to sort of bring out. And, I think that it is as powerful as any machine out there. And you're getting all of those options that you would have eventually, like the full remote. The only thing is you don't have the backlight and you don't have the external speaker. Right, Michael. And even Sharpshooter, for those of you that have checked out a couple of his videos, even Sharpshooter came up with a thing that you can attach, like for your battery. You can put an external battery on there and you could hunt with that thing all day. The good thing is it only takes a few hours to charge it with that small puck. So you can just use that thing all day long. You can swing it all day long. And it's just a really, really good option in that price range. And I think a lot of people, well, I won't say a lot of people forgetting about it, because I want to say in the last 3 weeks, I've gotten so many questions about the WS6 on my Facebook page, Instagram page, Twitter. I've gotten a couple of questions on there. People are really, really starting to take notice of that machine, and I think it's taken off. So the WS6, it's definitely a great option. And then, of course, if you already have the WS6 headphones, some of you might even think about making a backup machine with it and buying a shaft and putting that puck on a stem. And all you really need then is a coil, and you can go and you can do that. Weather, North Carolina says, I just purchased, I'll put his up there. He said, I just purchased a 9-inch coil to go along with the 11-inch for dig stock. I run deep high conductor, which gives me between 6 to 7 hours, depending on how noisy a site is. The plan is to purchase the upper shaft. And that's a great option. I agree with you 100%. Whether North Carolina, you need to come up and see me at dig stock, because I will be there. And you guys can stop by the XP tent, and we'll talk and discuss, and maybe I can go out and hunt with some of you guys too. So that would be a lot of fun as well. So Charlie Tucker says that he can't wait to pick his up at dig stock. So you ordered the WS6, Charlie? Is that correct? And Sharpshooter says that now any new future settings options for the Deus II. So yeah, hey DC Digging, looking forward to dig stock. Yeah, come by and see me at the XP tent. We're going to be having a blast. There's some great people that I'm going to be with. Green Mountain Metal Detectors, Nicolina Bohr, Brad Martin, who's Green Mountain Metal Detectors, Cameron Macer, who's a great guy. I've watched a couple of his videos, and then Rob Rizzo, History Digger. All of those guys are going to be with me at the tent. So definitely stop by and say hey. And, if you find anything really cool, come by. And I'm going to be doing some videotaping too while I'm there. So I would like to, maybe even go out in the field and videotape some of you guys while you're hunting, if that's going to be an option. We'll see how much I can get out. So Charlie says, plus I'm picking, you're picking up the 11 by 13. Who did you order it through? Did you order it through Matt, through Dig Stock? Oh yeah, come on by Weather, North Carolina. I don't know everything, but there's going to be some very, very, very experienced people there. So definitely stop by and say hey. DC Digging, yeah, definitely. Charlie, All you guys are going to look forward to that. You ordered yours through Matt. Good, good, good. And I got on my Dig Stock t-shirt. I don't know if y'all can, I know I'm cutting it off with the comments, but yeah, I got on my Dig Stock t-shirt right now too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be one of the biggest, it's going to be one of the largest events I think we've ever had here in the United States. So there's going to be a lot of people there. So it should be a ton of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. But I did want to talk about the WS6. And again, does anybody got any questions about the WS6? Are any of you using the WS6? That's probably the main question I have right now. Or are y'all basically everybody's using the full remote? You're trading in your 800 towards the WS6. Charlie, that's strong. And that's probably a great move. But you can hunt with it in the water. You can buy one of those waterproof pouches and put the puck in there. And but you still got to run your antenna and that kind of stuff. But you can run it in the water. I wouldn't go very deep with it in that pouch, but you can run it in the water with the waterproof pouch if you chose to do so. Yes, it does allow for custom programming, but yes, you can. Michael brings up a good point. Of course, a lot of us like the WS6, and I like it on the beach because you can hook that 13-inch coil up to it, and you can swing that thing all day long using that WS6 setup. So that's another reason why I like it as well. So thank you, Michael. Thank you for leaving that comment. Yeah, you sure could. You can buy the full remote separate later if you buy the WS6 now. But I'm telling you, you're gonna, and like Sharpshooter just said, you are going to have the full remote um, with this next update. So, but if you do want the full remote, you can get it later. You can start with the WS6 package and then add the full remote later, just like you add a coil or just like you add anything else. That's the great thing about XP is that you've got so many options with their stuff. So yes, so thank you, Aaron. Thank you for that question. Michael says, I think you can have one custom program based off of each program. So usually I just set mine up once I get to the site, decide what I need, and then I go from there. So, but yeah, Charlie Tucker says, Michael, I thought so too. That's probably correct then, because there's a couple people saying that. I've never done the custom program on the WS6, but I did remember reading that you can do it. I didn't know how many. So apparently you can do one program or one custom program for each one of the programs. So apparently you got 12 slots then, if that's the case. Digging Daryl says, I ordered the 11 by 13 from Modern Metal Detectors. Should be here next week. You're going to love that 13-inch coil. I love it. Out on the beach too, or if you're hunting in open field or pasture, you're going to really love that having that big coil. And the good thing about it is that it's got a radius bigger than what the coil is. So if you get even anywhere near the target, you can go ahead and you can find things using it because it just sort of spreads out that signal. Sharpshooter says that the WS6 has a 14-hour battery runtime according to the manual. So, and if you use Sharpshooter's hook up with the battery pack and everything, you could hunt for a long, long time. Sharpshooter can probably tell us. Yes, you can, Jerry. That's a good question. Yes, you can update the WS6 like the remote. So yes, and again, you update the headphones, the remote, and the coil. You can do all three. Hey, Lance, glad to have you in here. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Digging Daryl says that he ordered his 11 by 13 for the fields. Yes, I think that's going to be great in the fields. I've used mine on the beach. I haven't really had a place where I could use it to relic hunt with yet because most of my relic sites are just loaded with iron. But I have used it on the beach, and it's pretty deep. Let me tell you, it's really deep. So Weather North Carolina says, have you noticed any performance difference running the WS6 versus the main control box? No, I have not. It I have not noticed any difference at all. And Sharpshooter can attest to this too. He and I had this conversation the other day. Um, is that the XP Deus II machine is probably one of the most power efficient machines out there. Based on, if you look at some of the specs and things, and Sharpshooter could probably tell you more about that, but it doesn't use a lot of power. And the WS6 is same thing. But no, I have not noticed any difference at all using the WS6 versus the main control. The performance is there. That's what they sell the WS6 on, is that you're getting the same performance as the regular full-size remote. And I mean, that's their whole selling feature of the WS6, is that you don't have to pay $1,500 to still get that same performance. And it's done extremely well. In fact, my last hunt, I was using the WS6. Somebody was asking me why. I think it was Jerry on here. Somebody was asking me, why were you using the WS6? And the reason why is because I had my WS6 set up with my bigger coils. So I had my 11-inch coil set up with the WS6, and then I had my 13-inch coil set up with the WS6. So when I go to hunt a field or where there's not a ton of iron, instead of having to switch the coil out and pair it up and all of that, I just have them set up in WS6 units, so I can just go and hunt. So I just grab that machine and I go and I hunt a field or a pasture or wherever with a bigger coil. And I had the 11-inch when I was hunting there. Yes, your coil will not last as long as the remote. The remote will last a long, long time. So those coils will run down, and especially if you're using deep high conductor, it's a power hog. It's going to use a lot of power. But yes, your coil will run down before your remote and battery. Usually what I do is I charge all of them at the same time. Once my coil is charged, then I take off the remote and the headphones so that everything gets a charge every time I go out. But again, yeah, you you're going to be hard pressed to run down the remote or the headphones before the coil will die. And if you're using deep high conductor, generally, from what I've seen, I used it all day on Monday, and I was using deep high conductor, except for the last part of my hunt, which I flipped over to general. But I probably ran deep high conductor for at least 6 hours, and I still had pretty good battery life left. But again, it just depends on the situation and how much you're if you're in a whole bunch of iron and you're running the external speaker and you're doing and you got the backlight on and all these other things, then you're probably using a whole bunch of power, and you're probably not going to see a 6 to 8 hour charge holding up using deep high conductor. Very good. Yeah. Yeah, it does. It will smoke the coal battery. You're exactly right. So Charlie Tucker asked, he and Sharpshooter, are the new coils on the two cover a wider frequency than the one? I put that up there for Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter says, you set up your Deus II like my sidebuster unit with the battery. You can hunt all day long. And he's exactly right. New England Swinger, glad to have you in. He says it's snowing up here. Supposed to go out in the morning detecting with a buddy. Yeah, I'm hopefully going to be going out to Calabash, and I are planning on doing a hunt. So hopefully we'll have some really cool stuff to show you. So Sharpshooter said Deus 2 coil do cover wider frequency span than Deus 1 X35 coils. Yeah, I never had an X35, but I know a lot of people that did, and they like them. Lance says he mainly puts the deep high conductor settings into the fast platform. Yes, I do the same thing, Lance. In fact, that's what I was doing over on that Confederate site that I was hunting the other day. I was putting it into deep high conductor and then just cranking up the reactivity. But I also use fast as well. But I only used fast for a little bit last Monday. But Deep high conductor, you can run it, bump the reactivity up, and go with it. It's a great. It's to me, it's a great all around program, and it's deep, so you can do a lot with deep high conductor. And I'm pretty sure that's why Mental Metal set up his coin program on deep high conductor, because it's really good on high conductive targets. So there you go. Surfside Dan, he says he was late. He's playing with the LiDAR for Georgetown County. Okay, Dan, you'll have to fill me in on that for sure. I'd be real interested in that as well. So, yeah, LiDAR is really, really cool. So we got 45 people in here. Please share the link and get more people in here. I'd love to have as many people on here as I can. So Lance says that's what I'm talking about in the fast program, but I set it up like deep high conductor, and I do the same thing. Lance. So you and I are on the same page. Sure, Dan. I'd love for you to help me show me some of that. Digging Darrell says Treasure Fest 6 in Murfreesboro, Arkansas. Hope to see you guys there. Brandon Sutton does a great job putting these seated hunts together. Yeah, I haven't been out to Arkansas, but I bet that's going to be a great time as well. Do I set the silencer on 0 with deep high conductor? Yes, I do. The only drawback to that, though, is if you set it on 0, you might dig some more nails. So you got to have your ears on when you set that silencer down to 0. If you can and you can get away with it, run it at 1. But I have used 0 on deep high conductor. I'll tell you what I do when I'm really looking for something in some of these open fields is I'll use that deep high conductor program. I'll run that reactivity down to 0.5, and then I'll set that silencer on 0. And basically what I do is I open up the machine as much as I can. I run the discrimination down to like 6.4, 6.2. If I can run it even lower, I will try, because the less filters you're going to have that you're using, the better you're going to be able to find something really deep, and you're going to hear that really deep signal. So that's another way I run deep high conductor as well. So yes. Thank you. DC Diggins says he's been running deep high conductor program lately with low reactivity, having good success. What I just said. So great, DC Diggins. You're right on it, buddy. WS6 Master with a legend, approximately 2 pounds, and sharpshooter's right. That's why I had mine set up with the 11 and the 13-inch coil as well. New England Swinger said he got a nice Massachusetts Volunteer Militia button and 2 silvers yesterday with deep high conductor. So I guess if I can't get out tomorrow, I shouldn't cry too much. That's a pretty good day, New England Swinger. Congratulations, buddy. That's awesome. Weather North Carolina says I try to run it as wide open as possible. Yeah, there you go. Reactivity around 1.5, drill to buckle at 20 inches, and buttons 10 to 12 inches. Hey, Rich. Rich is in the house. Got here a little bit late, but he's here. Glad to have you. Weather North Carolina, discrimination 6.4 to 7.0. That's exactly what I do. If you can run it a little bit lower, then try it. But anytime you start knocking out some of those filters, you're gonna be able to see some improvements as far as depth. New England Swinger, I need a second coil right now. I only have the 9-inch. I was looking at the 11 by 13, or should I just go with the straight 11? I'm going to say this. I think that it really all depends on what kind of hunting you're doing. If you know that you've got to have a lot of wide open fields where you're not going to be dealing with a lot of iron, then I really would say the 11 by 13. But if you know that you're going to be dealing with iron in some places, and you're going to need a little bit of separation, then I would say go with the 11. I mean, that's just where I'm at with those 2 coils. The 13 is really deep. I don't know how much deeper it is than the 11, but the 11 is a very, very deep coil. So if you've already got the 11-inch coil, I think you're going to be real happy with it. But take that for what it's worth, New England Swinger. You know your sights, and decide, hey, how much hunting am I going to be? If you're going to be on the beach, the 11 by 13 is pretty nice to have on the beach too. So again, just my 2 cents for what it's worth. So need more likes, definitely. Thank you, Chris. hit that like button. I appreciate it. Weather North Carolina says I do live in Eastern, so the soil is pretty mild. Yes. All right. I think you've been in the mill. Sharpshooter says WS6 Master, then bought WSA headphones, can be bought later and work WS6 on stem and wear WSAs. Bingo. Yeah, he's exactly right. That's a great setup, Sharpshooter. Charlie, yeah, New England Swinger, get them all. Michael says, I think the 9 and the 11 is a more versatile combination. And I'm with you, Michael, on that. I mean, but there are some people that they're not dealing with a whole ton of iron, or they're strictly, doing beach hunting and other things. Then I think the 11 by 13 is great in those situations. So, you've got to decide what your sights are like. And I know New England Swinger, he knows what his sights are like, and whether he needs to go with the 13 or the 11. Joe in Memphis, he says the 11 by 13 gets delivered Monday. That will give me all 3 coils, and I have all 3, and I love all 3, and they're so good for all the different situations that you'll encounter. Again, I didn't use my 9-inch the other day out in that field because I really wasn't dealing with a ton of iron. So I drove the 11 with me and hunted in that field, and I did end up digging a bullet, and I also dug a piece of grape shot or canister shot out of that field with the 11-inch, and it was pretty deep. It was a good 12, maybe 13 inches, close to that. But yeah, it was definitely deep. Weather North Carolina, that's what I'm going with, 9 and 11 until XP comes out with the elliptical. And I'm with you, Weather North Carolina. I'm waiting on that elliptical coil. I think on this machine, I think it's going to be jammed up with that smaller coil. So we'll see. Make It Work says, do most guys use pitch when using deep high conductive program? And again, that's a personal preference. I use pitch, but I use square tones for the audio. So I found that I can hear that a little better. Some of you may find something else works better for you. How many of you use pitch on here? I'm curious as to that too. So yeah, hopefully that elliptical is coming, Michael. You're exactly right. Heading up to Pennsylvania in May. Can't wait to detect in the dirt. All right, BK, you have fun going up there. That should be a great, great place to go. A lot of history. So Surfside Dan says, Deus II components, all charge time approximately 3 hours from dead. Yeah. And we know that there are some other machines out there. It takes a lot longer to charge. The Manicore takes 7 hours, right? Sharpshooter, I believe that's correct. So when you charge that, you got to leave it on there pretty much all day. You better make sure you do it. Otherwise, it's going to die out on you on the field. So yeah, that's something to think about. Let's see here, guys. Got so many comments. Thank you guys for the comments. Hit that like button. Joe in Memphis says he ordered it for coverage in fields. Yes, the 11 is plenty deep, Joe. I agree with you too. Wisco Tech says he loves pitch, that and full tones. DC Diggins says he rarely uses pitch, but I can hear the iron. I can hear things a lot better in pitch than I can in 2 tones or 3 tones. But full tones is what I basically cut my teeth with the Deus machine. And yes, Sharpshooter says correct on the Manicore. I think it's a 7-hour charge time. New England Swinger says, I usually run 2-tone PWM and been trying to run pitch with PWM. And you can do that. And I've done that before too. One thing I found out though, running pitch and PWM at the same time, I couldn't, it was just too much almost. It was almost like the machine was almost too sparky in some cases, where I could hear more crackling and that kind of stuff. But with the square tones, I found out that I could hear it a little better, for whatever that's worth, and running pitch. But I've run pitch and PWM, and it works. I mean, it works great too. I just seems like I can hear a little better running the square tones. Yes, find it. Thank you. Finding with Frequency says same here, Brian. Of course, that's my first name if you guys didn't know that. Weather North Carolina says I run square 5 tones with custom brakes, starting to play with full tones, iron audio, 4 audio response 6. Okay, very good, Weather North Carolina. So I've never run 5 tones on any of my programs, but I mean, hey, it's what works for you. He's got some custom brakes set in there, which I think is great. A lot of people are going to using more notch too. They seems like that's helping in some cases. Michael says he plans on using full tones in the future. Me too. Uh, Jay Hopkins says he always uses pitch, and I'm with Jay. That's pretty much all I use. I just can hear better. I can hear the iron better. I can even hear sometimes on the shotgun shells at the percussion top of it, or the where the hammer actually strikes the shell. I can sometimes hear that small little bit of iron in there. Sometimes, if I'm really got my ears on. So sometimes I can even tell a shotgun shell using that. So yes, Lance says I have kind of done got where I like pitch square tones. The round tones really stand out. Right. I agree with you, Lance. That's what I do too. Um, so very good. Weather North Carolina says, does the pitch square change the response frequency based on conductivity? Again, I'm still learning when I played with it a couple of weeks ago. I don't think so. Well, you can hear it better. I mean, just like I just said, you can hear that little crackling sound of the iron. And then on a coin, it's got sort of a, well, and you guys, and most of you guys know this, that if you, because all of you are using this machine for the most part, but it's got sort of a smoother sound to it. And on a button too, you can sort of hear it, and you can really tell. So, whether North Carolina, my main suggestion would be take it out and swing over some targets and try to see if you can hear some of those differences. Just sitting around in your yard or something, and start listening for those different sounds and different tones that you can pick up, and then switch it around. Change the audio on it, change the from pitch to 5 tones or 2 tones or whatever you think you're going to prefer, and then test it out that way and see how that works. Thank you, guys. Yeah, hit that like button. It's free. That's exactly right. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. Wisco Detect says I do too. I always use pitch until they fix full tones right. And Charlie says his older ears pick on it better. Yes, definitely. 47 people in here, 30 likes. Yeah, where you got all these people in here and nobody's hitting the like button? Hit that like button. And thank you for the super chat and super thanks that was given earlier too. That was awesome. Square tones are louder to me. I have to lower my audio response somewhat in square tones. Yes. And I think some of that's actually going to be adjusted too, so it's not blowing your eardrums off. Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. BK, if you haven't hit that like button, you are wrong. I know. What are you doing over here if you're not going to hit the like button? Some people don't know where the like button is, though. I have found that out because somebody was saying I would hit it, but I don't know where it is. They can't find it on YouTube. Yes, I'm a history teacher. Hit that like button. But again, you can also, if you choose to, you can give a super chat or a super thanks. I would appreciate that too. Helps me out with doing some things, cameras like Calabash. I've tried to upgrade my game. I just bought a new MacBook not too long ago to try to bring a little better content to you guys. And I bought a couple of cameras. I bought a new mic, which hopefully all this sounds better. It costs money to do the live stream, if you guys don't know that. So yeah, I've got a good bit of money tied up in this stuff, but I love being with the group that we have on here, and it makes it a lot of fun. So let's keep it rolling. Yes, having a spare charge coil clip, good recommendation. Maybe even a spare deuce. Yes, and one of the things that I do that sharpshooters sort of been alluding to is I always take a little battery pack with me in case my machine dies, or I have it where I can hook my, I can plug in my my cable, my charging cable, and I can charge it through my truck or whatever, at least if it were to really die. I've only had my machine die on me one time, and that was my error because I didn't charge it, and I had been using deep high conductor the day before. And I got out in the field. I found a South Carolina button, and then right after I found the South Carolina button, game over. And what was so funny was I had to go back to using the Equinox because I didn't bring another machine, and the only machine that was available to me was my buddy had his Equinox. So I had to go back to using the Equinox, and it made me realize how light the XP Deus II was. And I found some stuff with the Equinox that day too. So it turned out to be a good day, even though the battery died. So very good. All right, let's get back to this. What battery pack do you recommend? Get the one that has the highest milliamp hours on it. And then that way that'll give you a pretty good charge. But look for the milliamp hours. That would be the one. There are several good brands of battery packs. I use Anchor with good. That's what I have. I have an Anchor battery pack. Thank you, Daniel, for the super chat. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much. Jim. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. We appreciate it. Calabash and I, again, we work really hard. Sharpshooter's another one. Sharpshooter and I talk. I talk to all these guys. Now, I don't do all the testing and things that they do, but I learn the machines. I talk to them about the machines. We all talk about recommendations. We all talk about those types of things. And we all work together. Iffy's another one. Iffy Signals, for you guys that know Iffy. And all of us are sort of working together and, trying to create a great community where people can go and get information. And that's what we try to do. And I try to show some good hunts every now and then and do the live stream and just do a little combination of everything. He says, beware, some battery packs from that Asian country has greatly inflated milliamp hour ratings that are not trustworthy. Yeah, Anchor is one. In fact, I just bought another Anchor product, and it was because I had an Anchor battery, which is actually my hub for my MacBook computer is actually an Anchor product. So yes, Anchor does make good products. So yeah, so go on Amazon and look up Anchor and look up battery packs, and get a good one from there. Very good. Thank you. Is it As We Guess pack? Is that how we say that? All right. Let's see here. Yes, Lance says, I used to do some test videos, but I don't have to anymore because Calabash, that's exactly right. Calabash and Sharpshooter keep us going with the test video. I just don't have the time, number one. And Calabash and Sharpshooter are very fortunate that they do have the time to do some of that stuff. So again, yes. And Sharpshooter says you don't really, because we just got through, and Sharpshooter can tell you this. He told me this the other night when he and I were talking. What is it, Sharpshooter? Like 700 or 900 milliamp hours for the remote on the Deus II, which is really low compared to the Manicore, which is like really high. We talked about that. So what's up, Andrew? There we go. Glad to have you on board. Mandy's Candies, glad to have you here. Very good. Charlie. Dan is in, Dan, Charlie says he's in the top side of New York. That's what it looks like. Timmy J says it also has two LEDs with LEDs with cool, yeah, for night hunts. It does. It does. Jeremy Duty says, I've been swinging the CTX 3030 for over 7 years. Does anyone know if the Deus II and Manicore will go deeper than using the 17 on the 3030? I live in the most western part of Tennessee. I find clad at 8 inches plus. I cannot answer that question because I have never used a CTX 3030 machine. But I can tell you this, the Deus II and the Manicore are two of the deepest machines that are available right now. I mean, hands down, very deep machines. So, but somebody might be able to answer that on here. I've never used a 3030, so Not real sure on that one. Dan says bone conductor headphones. I must have missed something, Dan, but there you go. Calabash actually showed the 0809 with a good tone on the Deus too. Right. Finding with frequency says I've ran into it on the beach quite a few times, and it's been a good target at depth. And I missed the first part of whatever that was, finding with frequency, but I'm assuming you're answering somebody's question. But thank you so much. Charlie and I have info that you could use. Very good. Oh, wow. Dan said he's got some info there. So there you go. There you go. Jay Hopkins, in my opinion, the 800 was just as deep as the 3030. That's why I sold my 3030. The 800 was a deep machine too. Right. And the 900, the new 900 and 700 are very deep machines as well. And I mentioned this the other night. All these machines are deep. I mean, it's very small, the margin of depth between all of these machines. So you're getting a deep machine regardless. So, and I know that question was about the 3030, and I wish I could say I've used the 3030, but I think these other machines are just as deep as the 3030 was. Probably even deeper. And it looks like from what Jay just said that his 800 was as deep as his 3030. So there you go. Timmy J says, I had the 3030 and my Deus II and Manicore go easy as deep, in my opinion. I agree. I agree with you. That's what we just said, Timmy J. Thank you. So let's go here. New England Swinger says, I have a CTX, ran it for just about 7 years now, and it sits in the closet collecting dust. Anyone looking for one, mine's up for sale. Okay, New England Swinger. I had a friend of mine that had it, and he mainly used it for beach hunting, but that thing was heavy too. I basically used it like one time, like out on the beach, just swinging around with it, and I found it to be pretty heavy machine. So Lance says, I wasn't going to say it, but my 800 was just as deep as I sold my CTX also. Yeah. So that's it. Since we're talking about the CTX, how many of you guys think will MindLab release a CTX? Is that coming? Are we going to have all these MindLab machines running around out there? And how much different is the CTX going to be over the Manicore? It's a good question. Right. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Joe in Memphis says, New England Swinger, I haven't turned mine on since the Deus II was delivered. Wow. Yeah. Deus II is just a hard machine to beat, guys. And, with it being so light and you can do so much with it, and it's deep, it's got great separation. It's got the 5-year warranty on it. I mean, it's just got a lot of good things that you can talk about. It's my go-to machine without a shadow of a doubt. Yes, Finding with Frequency says it's a good machine. Its reactivity is very slow. And I've heard, I knew it was pretty deep. But again, it probably did struggle on iron. I've never used one, but I'm sure at the time it was top notch. You think the Manicore is the new CTX? A lot of people keep thinking that MindLab is going to release a CTX machine. So that'll be interesting to see if that does happen. Michael says if MindLab makes a new CTX, they better lighten it up. Definitely. Wow, we got a lot of comments coming in. Jim Hughes says, I got my tracking number on my Manicore. Be here. Second, love my Deus II and 900. Will be nice now. Need a second remote for my 11BY13D. Oh, you need another remote. Yeah. Put that on another stem. Just get a WS6 and do like I did. Yeah. Get you a pair of WS6 headphones and go from there. And get that 13-inch coil. Charlie, yeah, 5-year warranty. You're right, Charlie. That's what I said. I just checked today. I'm 5th on my list for my Manicore, but I'm still thinking I should get the Deus II, the struggles of decisions. And Aaron, again, like I said, there's not a ton of difference between these machines. And it's just going to come down to what you like and what you think is going to work best for you and your conditions. But you know, I can tell you this: if you get a Deus II, you're going to be in good shape. You're going to find a bunch of stuff with it. If you get a Manicore, you're going to be in great shape, and you're going to find a lot of things with it. I prefer the Deus II because of the area where I hunt, the separation in iron, those types of things, the 5-year warranty, the lightweight. Those are the reasons why I like the Deus II. But the Manicore is an awesome machine, and I think they're going to update it too, and it's going to get even better. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens. Definitely. Yeah. Why do we need? Yeah. Isn't that what the Manicore is for? Well, there's people out there that are still screaming that there's going to be a CTX machine released. The 4040, is that what they're going to call it? I don't know. I have no idea. New remotes are mad money. Yeah, well, like I said, the WS6 package is the cheapest way to go if you want to get a Deus II and get all that performance. And that's what we were talking about. I think it's going to be a new CTX, and it's going to be between $3,000 and $5,000. Wow. What's the screen going to look like? Are they going to come out with a 3D screen? Is it going to be like having a GPR on a metal detector? I don't know. I don't know where we're headed, but it'll be interesting to see if that does happen for sure. Lance says he canceled his Manicore order 2 months ago. The Deus II is good enough for me. I got you, Lance. And again, I'm not saying one's better than the other. It just depends on you, what you want to use. If you like, you guys know I love the Deus II. I mean, I talk about it all the time. It's a great machine for me because I hunt in iron, and I love the separation capability of that machine. It's plenty deep, 5-year warranty, lightweight. It's everything I could ask for. I can hunt with it in the water if I want. I've got so many options and customization features that I can do with it. It just gives me everything that I could use, and it works great on my sides. So that's why I go with the Deus II. Right, it's going to look like Ghostbusters Proton Pack. I agree with you, Lance. Definitely. Timmy J says my go-to is the Manicore for now because of the big screen, extra 2D screen info. My son uses the Deus II and loves it. Yeah, and again, the Manicore, that screen there's something to be said about that screen. It's the most magnificent screen that we've ever seen on a metal detector. I remember the White's V3i when it came out. That was a neat screen to look at too. I'm not so much of a screen watcher as I am I listen for the tone and the audio, but that screen is really nice. It really is. So I get it, Timmy J. I definitely get it 100%. For that much money, heads up display, programmable stereo audio tones. I agree. Joe in Memphis. I don't know what he's talking about. Charlie's talking to you, Joe in Memphis. Outcast metal detected. All right, got a 3030 and replace my on screen. Works great to heavy, but will slow you down. Many find more with that. Just got to know. Okay, Jim. Well, the 3030 is a good machine. MindLab's never made a bad machine, and everybody in here, I think, would agree to that. All their machines have always been pretty top notch. So if you got a 3030, if you got an old E-Track, I used an E-Track for a while. It was a great machine. It was an awesome coin machine. So if you were looking for silver coins, the E-Track was the machine to have, and I loved it. Loved it when I had it. It was just heavy, and that's why I eventually went with the Deus, is because of the weight of that MindLab E-Track. So I get it, guys, definitely. The Manicore doesn't have weight. It only has weight as in waiting for delivery. That's true, Rich. There's still some people waiting. You would have thought by now that we would have had that machine. So hopefully it's coming really, really soon. Thank you, guys. Hit that like button. I don't know how many likes I've got, but hit it. I would appreciate it. Lance said the White's V3i is the only detector that is with me. Way too many settings and 1,000-page owner manual. I never quite figured it out. I had a friend of mine that had that, And he always had to ground balance that machine. I don't know what it was with that machine, but the ground balance thing was just all over the place. So again, Jimmy Crossbones is still using it. Very good. 40 likes so far. Yeah, and we got 47 people in here. Where are those other 7 people? What are they doing? So anyway, the likes helps with the algorithm. That's why I said. Have you made adjustments to the Deus II equalizer, or do you leave it at stock settings? Just curious if it's an advantage. I did when I got my WSA2 XL headphones. I adjusted the tones to it to basically set it up to where the higher conductive targets are going to sound really really sweet and high. You're going to have that real high pitch to them. Mid tones I've set up in that mid range, just adjusted it slightly. And then, of course, anything in the lower tone bracket, I set it up that way too. So I think there's five of them that you can adjust, and just play around with them and turn and see what works for your ears, and decide, which one you want to go with. But you can set it up however you like. And I do think it makes a difference. It really does, especially if you got the the WS6 unit. I like it with that as well. The other 7 are spies. I don't know. For the freak stick, I don't know. Wisco Tech says, with the pitch tone, the VDI is secondary. You truly can hear what's in the ground with the Deus II. And that's what I've been saying all along. I think when running in that pitch and that square, that works really good for my ears. And so, yeah, if you're using pitch tones, then and you're running square, I think I can hear a little better. But some people like the PWM with the pitch, and that's good too. Again, it's all personal stuff. But I tend to like pitch with square. So very good. Let's see. Sharpshooter says the equalizer settings can help. Definitely. Backup phone speakers sound pretty good at stock equalizer setting. Yeah, and you got to remember, guys, when they set up all these programs, they set them up for being, what they think are the ideal settings. And usually they're pretty doggone good. Just like, for instance, I was using General Program. People don't realize that General Program is a very, very good program on this machine. They think it's the beginner program, and I'm above all of that, whatever it may be. But I found, and if you go watch that video that I did this past weekend, I found that Confederate block I button using General Program. So don't underestimate the General Program. It's a good program, and it works. It works really good, especially with nails. So if you're dealing with a nail issue too, you can run that General Program. You can up the reactivity, and it'll help with some of that falsing too. At least that's what I've seen. So very good. DC Diggins says, I have adjusted the equalizer the first time this weekend and it helped. Yes, I've messed with mine too. Jim P says, laugh out loud, spy balloons. Very good. I wish the equalizer worked on the remote instead of just the headphones. You're talking about through the external speaker, Lance? I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Digging Daryl says, I got the Manicore, but the Deus II is much lighter and I can swing it easier until I get shoulder surgery due to torn rotator cuff. I got you, Digging Daryl. That rotator cuff stuff's rough business. I'm going to have surgery at some point. But anyway, my Deus II, with it being so light, it doesn't aggravate it nearly as bad as a heavier machine would, for sure. Sharpshooter says, I also remember highest pitch, not stock settings, using pitch and multi-tones. So again, you can adjust those things and set them up for your ears. So if you're one of those people that say, hey, I can't hear this, or I swing over a target and it doesn't sound a certain way, then go play around with the equalizer settings and see what works for you. Swing over a few targets and try to set it up for your ears, what you like. Definitely. Daryl, I've had both my shoulder repaired. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's tough. Lance says, yes, the equalizer doesn't change any of the sounds when using the remote external speakers. Yeah. Yeah, I know. You just, I mean, and that's the other thing. Whenever we're doing these videos out in the field, and we're trying to let you guys hear, we hear something sometimes. I mean, you can tell. I mean, we're saying, hey, I can hear iron, or I can hear this, but you can't hear it through that external speaker. So it makes it really hard to capture some of those sounds when you're just, videoing it and trying to use the external speaker, because you don't get that full perception like you would with your headphones on. So I understand what you're saying, Lance. You're exactly right, though. It would be nice if you could adjust that. So definitely. So again, we've got 46 people in here, and we've talked a lot. We've gone all over the place. We've talked about programs. We've talked about settings. We've talked about the WS6. We've gotten into a bunch of different areas with XP machines. We've talked a little bit about the ManaCore. And I'm hoping that a lot of you will be getting the ManaCore soon, for you guys that have been waiting for a while. I know it's very frustrating, especially when you see some of the big box stores getting those machines in, and you're still sitting here waiting because you went through your local dealer. But support those local dealers. I mean, I know it's tough, especially when you've been waiting on these machines for a while. But those local dealers, definitely, that helps them out. So support your local dealer as well. Lance says, I like the headphones, but once it gets to 102 degrees in South Alabama, yeah. And I was bringing this up the other day when I was talking with Calabash and with Sharpshooter. When it gets really hot, I don't want to wear those WSA2 XL headphones. The only problem is when you get on the beach, you got too much background noise sometimes, and sometimes you don't get that full sound that you might like to get for one of those really deep rings or deep necklace or chain or whatever. And the back phones will let in too much background noise. So you're sort of almost forced to wear the earmuffs. I mean, I'm like you in Alabama and South Carolina, boy, during the summer in July and August, it's just so brutal with the heat and humidity. And even being out on the beach, you think there'd be a little breeze, but you can really, really, really work up a sweat out on that beach for sure. Jay says, I wonder if the WS6 will have depth indicators when the big numbers are selected. That would be great for us old tired grandpas. I don't know that either. I do not, but that would be good. That would definitely be good. So yes, hey Iffy, what's going on? Glad to have you in here. What up, Iffy? Everybody's give Iffy a shout out. I'm trying not to miss anybody. I think you can pair small. Yes, I've seen people do that. They hook up a little small Bluetooth speaker. You can buy one off of Amazon, hook it on there, and then you got a speaker for the WS6. So if that's something you're into, then get you one of those small little Bluetooth speakers and just plug it into the back of the WS6 puck, and now you got a speaker. Yeah, if he's late. Thank you, Wisco Detect. Thank you so much. Hit that like button. Yes, definitely. I appreciate the super chats and the super thanks that some of you gave tonight. Thank you as well. So Finders Keepers is here. Hey, Finders Keepers, glad to have you in here. Bells is here. Looks like we got a few people that I hadn't seen until just now. So, and I'm hoping too that, and this was brought up earlier in the chat, really hoping to see that elliptical coil. I think that would be really, really nice. Especially on this machine. With this machine, the 9-inch coil is great, but if you had the elliptical and you could hunt an iron with an elliptical coil, I think it would be awesome. And I think it would do very, very well. And I know a lot of you would definitely appreciate it. So Rich said, when it's hot, I use the WSA2 with the audio jack, put it in the shirt pocket, and use wired earbuds. Yes, I know. When it gets hot, you got to use those back phones. Using the full muffs that's brutal. Andrew says, I do too, Andrew. I'm that way sometimes myself. Aaron says, but the WS6 doesn't have a backlight, correct? Yeah, it doesn't. And I don't know. I don't know that if this update's going to give you a backlight or not, but I don't know how they could do that if there's not a light in there. So I don't know. So Aaron, that might be an issue. Could be an issue, definitely. What's up, NC Rocket? Digging Daryl. Coiltech needs to make a coil for the Manicore and the Deus II. Well, the Deus II, the problem is that it's got that, it's got that battery inside of it. So I think Coiltech might struggle a little bit, and they're pretty proprietary too, much like MindLab. Yeah, and electronics. You're right, Jim. You're exactly right. So that coil has a lot of stuff going on in it. What's up? Can you dig it? Hello, glad to have you on board. So dig stock's coming up again. For some of you that are going, maybe we'll have that update. We can go out in the field and we can start looking at targets using some of the new features, which hopefully we'll have it by then. The only reason I'm not selling my 800 is the detect elliptical coil. Well, Bobby, what about, would you sell it when the Deus II comes out with an elliptical? Would you get rid of it then? Is that, I know this, I like a small coil. That's why I love my 9-inch. The elliptical though, and I will say this, the elliptical for the Deus I, the little white coil, I struggled with it a little bit. And you really had to be precise with that thing. And it puts down such a small radius, I guess is the word I'm looking for, that it really makes it can make it sort of tough in some situations. It's like a laser beam. You better be right on top of it. So, but anyway, I think that the smaller coil on this machine is going to do light years better than what was on the original Deus I. Michael says, Aaron, I got a lightweight headlamp that he uses with the WS6. Okay, very good. So there you go. You could use that. NC Rocket, yeah, thank you for being here. Well, NC Rocket, you can get on a waiting list now. I don't know if you saw that. So if you're really interested in still going, put yourself on that waiting list, and you never know. They may call you up and say, hey, somebody's canceled. Jim Pugh says Deus II rules. Thanks, Jim. Yes, Bobby Short. Bells says, I love my 800 with the detect coil and my wireless earbuds. Yes, Bells, 800, great machine for sure. I want a 15-inch round for the XP. Now, that would be interesting. I like the round coils. I really do. Really do. Yeah, footprint. That's the word I was looking for, Jim. Footprint. So, it puts down a small footprint. And I mean really small. That Deus I elliptical coil, that high-frequency coil, it would, you really had to zero in. So, yeah, small footprint. You're exactly right. Thank you for that, Jim. Yes, get on that waiting list, NC Rocket. Hey, from Blizzards, California. Glad to have you in, Paul. I know you've been on here with me before. I love my Deus II, but can't stand the backphones. A lot of people have problem with the backphones. My main issue with the backphones is just the back noise. And some people, it really hurts their ears. I've heard that from somebody. It doesn't bother my ears, but it lets in too much background noise on some of the places where What town is Digstock located? They haven't given out the exact location, but they are saying that if you're going to be going to it, you're going to stay in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, or Tarboro, North Carolina. So those are the two places that we were told to get rooms at. So that's where I'm going to be, one of those places. That pinpoint on close target blows my ears off. Hopefully the update will address that. Yeah, I agree. Definitely. It's going to be wild Deus II Plus. Yeah, I hope so. Yes, and Sharpshooter's right. Yes, the XP older versions are on their site, and usually they keep those around. What's up, Ohio Fred? I appreciate it. Finders Keepers. Oh, yeah. Well, believe it or not, I am on StreamYard right now. But this is the first time I've used StreamYard. I've used Restream. I've used Ecamm. So this is the first time that I've used StreamYard. So, but yeah, maybe next time we can do that. And some of you guys can jump on. That would be really nice. I saw, I was actually on Sodbusters, for you guys that know Sodbusters, in Idaho, I believe. And he was doing that last night. So, yeah, that's a really cool feature. That's partially why I ended up doing StreamYard tonight, because I wanted to play around with the different ones and see which ones I like the best. And so that's why I'm on StreamYard tonight. So thank you, finders keepers. But yes, we may do that next time. Set it up to where people can jump on. Detector Two Guns, glad to have you in. Well, yeah, you've missed a lot of good talk. We've had some great conversations, a lot about programs. We've talked about the WS6. We've talked about the Manicore. We've talked about dig stock. We've been all over the place. So again, it's been a great chat. You guys are awesome. Lance says he finally updated my Deus II to version 7. The only thing I've noticed different than the version 6 is I have to run the disk a little higher. Yeah, I haven't gone back. I mean, I'm on 7.1 and, I haven't gone backwards. But yeah, there are some differences between those things. Of course, that's why they release them naturally. But you're saying the only thing that you noticed was the disk setting running it a little higher. And there's a lot of people that have swore by those version 6 updates that they didn't like the 7, so they went back to the 6. And I get it, because you get used to something and then it changes. So sometimes you want to go back to what you were used to in the beginning. So I get it. What sand strainers do y'all like? My CKG broke twice. That's sad to hear, John. Have you contacted CKG? Because usually they're pretty good for the most part. But there's a lot. Extreme Scoops is one that is really, really popular with a lot of people. I have a CKG right now. I have 2 of them, and I've never broken one. So you might want to get in touch with them. Detector Two Guns, I'm sorry, you didn't get notified. Oh, well, and Detector Two Guns, that might be because I'm using a different live stream program tonight. I'm using StreamYard for the first time, so that might have been why you didn't get notified. Jim Pugh says he's still on the first update. Okay, Jim. Is there a reason? I mean, did you try the other update, or you just didn't update? Finders Keeper says he's on the original update. So what are y'all on? Are y'all on version 6? So that's good. Yeah, Lance said there's no sand strainers here. He's 2 hours away from the sand. Yeah, well, hopefully Detector Two Guns, the next time we go live, you'll be able to get on, or you'll be able to be notified. I hate that to happen, because I know you're one of our regulars. So yeah, Michael says he has the Extreme Sand Scoop and it works great. Yeah, a lot of people like Extreme. It seems like it's one of the better ones. Like I said, I do not have an Extreme. I have CKG as well. So, and it's done well. So, Finding with Frequency says that he likes the stealth scoops. Okay, so there you go. And again, thank you guys, because everybody's sharing knowledge. We all use different things. This is great for people that are looking for new accessories as well. Whenever you're trying to get one from Extreme. Oh, okay. Wow. Jim Pugh said just did the update, waiting on 7. Okay. All right. Mississippi River Blackjack Clay here. It's a witch to dig. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No notification here. Start over. Iffy. You're killing me, buddy. All right, Jim, you're on 7 now. Thank you. Yeah. I know that would be awful if I had to start back over. Jim Pugh, titanium, definitely. Yeah, CKG replaced the first one. Second replacement taking a long time from CKG to resolve. Odd. I'll probably go Extreme. Heard of them before. Yeah. So a lot of people like Extreme. So that might be one way you want to go. Yeah. Definitely, definitely. What was the other one that somebody said? I know I just read it off. So Extreme and GMP, was there one called titanium? I do not know. So anyway, there was another one. What was the other one? I'm looking for you guys. Somebody mentioned it. Now I can't find it. I'm probably looking up just past it. Motley Scoop. Yeah, there's another one. Motley Scoop. Um, Stealth. Yes, Stealth. That's the other one. So I've had a CKG sand scoop for a very, very long time. So that's surprising to hear that one broke. You said you need a jackhammer. You need a jackhammer to dig in that. Wow. Stealth. Yeah. Stealth is a good one too. Orange scoop. So I can see. Oh, yeah. I feel your pain there. Orange scoop. So I can see it in the dark water. I wade in Motley Scoops. There you go. Some people could break an anvil. Rich says some people could break an anvil in a plowed field. Yeah, wow, that's some pretty hard dirt for sure. I've run into that, but not that much of that type of soil here in South Carolina. Right. CKG titanium with blue carbon fiber. Yeah, that's a nice scoop. I think Calabash just got one of those, if I'm not mistaken. So he and I were going to go to the beach today, but he got tied up, so we ended up not going. But it's been raining pretty much all day too. So Lance says, Alabama hard red dirt here. I use a pickaxe a lot. Oh, wow. Yeah, that might not be fun swinging a pickaxe the whole time. Looking for that stuff. Did everybody see, speaking of that, did everybody get to see my finds from the other day? I was going to show y'all this. And I know it's not much. And to some of you, this ain't going to be that big of a deal. But to me, it is a big deal because, and I know it won't zoom in, but to me, it is a big deal. But there it is. You guys can see it. But that is a Confederate block eye button. And I have never dug one of those before. I've got the eagle with the eye in the shield, and I've got an artillery with the eye in the shield, or with the A in the shield. But I've never dug a Confederate block eye, so I was real excited to get that the other day because that's been something that I've been after and chasing for a while, and to finally get one, it was really good. Yes, thank you, finders keepers. Again, I worked hard for it too, guys. I walked almost 10 miles on Monday looking for, trying to find the where these guys were camped at this site. Yes, thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. And I also dug the other one. I know y'all won't be able to see, but I also dug a South Carolina button too. So I got two Confederate buttons in the same day. And that's something that I've never done before. I've never dug two Confederate buttons. Now I've dug, Union General Service Eagle buttons. I dug like 3 or 4 in a day. I've done that kind of stuff before, but I've never dug two Confederates. So that was really exciting for me. Thank you, DC Digging. Thank you, guys. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, 10 miles. That's it. Well, if you combine both hunts, I almost walked 20 miles because I did 10 miles one day and almost 8 miles the next day. So it was almost 18 miles. Yes, thank you, Michael. Uphill both ways. I know. I sent you what I walked to. You saw it. But now you got a sweet spot. It will be for a little while, but it's getting ready to get warm here. And the problem that I've got is if I don't start going these next couple of weekends, eventually it's going to be that you're going to get all that stuff growing up and you're not going to be able to get in there. And then you're going to get snakes, and then you got to deal with the poison ivy and the heat and everything else. And the mosquitoes are getting ready to be really, really bad here. And the no-see-ums, those little sand gnats. Some of you know what I'm talking about that live here in the South, but those sand gnats will tear you up and just make you break all out. Wow. Dug your first eagle eye yesterday. Wow. That's great. Congratulations, DC Digging. Finders keepers, -20 in the mud. Yeah, on that mud. Extra energy on detecting days. That's right. I drank a Celsius and ate a couple of Slim Jims, and I was good to go. So that's what I did. What program? Believe it or not, and I mentioned this earlier in the chat. I was actually using General program, and again, I think a lot of people underestimate General. General is a good program. So yeah. So if you haven't tried General, try it. I mean, it's not bad at all. So new detectors amaze me on the condition training detecting gives you. Yes, definitely. I dug 2 half dimes in one hunt. That's my rare find story of the month. Wow, wow. Yeah, 2 half dimes would be great. Calabash and I dug 4 half dimes, I believe it was 4 half dimes in one dig. Um, Now he got 3 of them, and I only got one, but we dug four, and then we went back and he dug. I want to say he dug 4 flying eagles. I dug 1 flying eagle. I dug a large scent, and I dug a South Carolina button, all in the same day. And so yeah, we've had some really good days, but I've never dug 2 Confederate buttons, so that was unique to me. So yes, Flying Eagle penny is a tough one. It is, but I have never dug a trime, and I hear people talk about trimes all the time, and I've never dug a trime as well. So yes, Lance said the Flying Eagle. Yes, and believe it or not, Lance, I have dug 5 Flying Eagle pennies. And all of them were 19 or not 19, 1857 pennies. So yeah, gonna have to drag the old Bash in. Yes, he's definitely he boy, we have a ball hunting. It's a comedy show for the most part, but we have a lot of fun hunting together. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. General seems okay as long as you can jack the game way up. Yeah, it's not as deep. That's the drawback to it. But you know, it works very well. I mean, you can increase the reactivity. You can set it up however you want, and it does do a little better with some of the iron. So yeah, General ain't no wuss. That's right. I agree with you, Bobby. Great finds in here, definitely. Dan, I can't spell my fingers; are too big for the small screens. Oh Lord. I use General 6.4 reactivity of 1 and silencer at 0. Charlie, that's a great program. Yeah, I use the silencer at 0 a lot because again, it will once you open it up, you can get a little more depth out of it running it at 0. So yes, running it at 0 on general, it's probably going to give you the max depth that you can possibly get out of it too. So that's great. That's a great setup right there. So we got a lot more comments. You guys are doing awesome. My coin program is based on general for its moist soil handling capability. Right. And that's the reason why I was using it on Monday, because we had gotten a little bit of rain on that Sunday. And so that's why I went with it where I did. So yes, definitely. Finders keepers. I snagged a flying eagle the other day. It was beeping high in the ground as well as out, banging in the 90s in the air on the Manicore. All right, really good. Those flying eagles are like, and they're hard to find in good condition too. You guys know that. Bought a flying eagle on eBay just to see what it sounds like on the Deus too. Yes. So hopefully you'll get on one of those, Lance. There's one out there waiting for you. I told my father his 1887 silver dollar surface find today don't count. He didn't dig it. It was laying on top in the cornfield. That's, hey, a coin's a coin. No matter how you find it, especially if you didn't find it metal detecting. PWN square. Yes, that's exactly what I've been using as far as the audio. And if he's in here too, he'll attest to that. He's been using that setup on a lot of his cellar holes. So yeah, PWN excuse me, square and pitch audio is what we've been using. Okay. So I like square when it comes to that. But again, PWN, some people like it better. But to me, it's a little more sparkier, sounds a little got a lot of more crackling in it. I like those square tones a little better. So square is where I go, and I use square and I use pitch tones. So Rich, did you ever take a diamond ring you found on the beach to an appraiser? No, I have not, and I've still got it just sitting there. Yeah, I have not done anything with it. It's a 14 karat gold ring, and it's a big ring, and it's got diamonds and stuff all in it. All right, let's say I'm out. Oh, no problem, Timmy J. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. Just strange. Usually they beep low. Yeah, but when they're big rings like that, they're gonna sound different. They really will, and that's a big one. That's huge. Jealous all of you flying eagle finders. It's on my bucket list. Well, a trime's on my bucket list, and there's probably somebody on here that's probably dug tons and tons of trimes. I have yet to dig one, and I know that they ring up weird, and that's probably why I probably walked over one, knowing me. Wet ground or mineralized ground is where the general program works great. You're exactly right, Michael. Definitely. Square, yes. The other hurts my ears. Yeah. It's got to me, it's just got a lot of crackling noise with it. And when you go to square, it just sort of smooths that sound out. Yes. Joe in Memphis, Michael Coley, agreed. Finders keepers. Yes. Hope you get yours soon. 4 trimes and 2 flying eagles. See, and I've never dug a trime. I would love to, because that's one of the coins that's on my bucket list, is a trime. Yeah, trimes are around a can. I don't know what a trime. Somebody that has dug one with a Deus machine. I don't know what the target ID is for that, but I've heard it's sort of low or lower than what you would think. Jay Strongbow says dig button signals to dig trimes. Yeah, yeah. Well, I do. I dig button signals. I dig that South Carolina button that I dug this past Monday. It was ringing up a 54. Yeah, but it's a cuff button. It's a little small button. So yeah, I dug it, and it was a South Carolina button. I was real excited about that too. Michael says he's never dug a trime either. Bobby Short says probably passed over a trime 100 times. I feel your pain, Bobby. I feel that way too. Some trimes beep higher than others with different silver content. Yeah, and with that old silver, even with the half dimes, they can get sort of weird on you as far as what they'll ring up or what the target ID is on those things. So, yes. Blasted Cat, glad to have you on board. Hit that like button if you haven't. If you guys are in here right now and you haven't hit that like button, please do. I would greatly appreciate it. If you would like to donate to the cause, I would appreciate that too, as I'm headed to dig stock and not all of my stuff is paid for. So that would be great to have a little bit of money to take with me to dig stock, and also to trying to update my cameras and stuff. Joe in Memphis says trime is 84 in general. Okay, good. That's good to know, Joe. Thank you. So, yeah, history teacher metal detecting. I probably should, but I'm stuck with Southern Relic because that's what I started with, and I would lose all my followers if I did that, Lance. But yeah, Calabash gave me the title history teacher, and I really am a history teacher for you guys that don't know that. Oh wow. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. That is so nice. That's really good. Thank you. That'll come in handy too. Definitely for dig stock and for purchasing some more equipment and cameras and stuff like that. I'm actually too. I've been talking with Calabash. I'm trying to get another GoPro. My GoPro is really crapping out on me. Like the other day when I was hunting, it was locking up, and it eventually died on me, and I couldn't film like my last couple of digs because I had to use my phone. So that'll definitely come in handy. So thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate you so much. Very, very much appreciated. Lance, I think I found a trime, but it's too thin and worn to be sure. Yeah, they will definitely Definitely. Yeah, GoPro, stop recording. Um, they're definitely thin. Calabash has a couple, and he's shown me his, and I know that they're very thin for sure. Sort of like the Spanish half reals. I've gotten some of those, and they're really thin as well. Yes. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you again, Jim. That was really, really nice. I appreciate it. Thank you, Blasted Cat. You guys are awesome. Thank y'all so much. And again, all that money goes right back to what I'm doing. My wife will be glad because being a history teacher really doesn't pay you that much. But I'm also a coach too. And my time is very limited. And Calabash has sort of talked about that as well. So, when I get out, it's I try to make the most of it, and I try to bring y'all content and do everything else with y'all. Y'all need to teach us how to do a webcam class. Yeah, I mean it's a lot. It really is because you have to, and I know Calabash has talked about this. You have to learn so much. You have to learn how to set up all these things. You have to learn how to use these cameras. You got to learn how to make designs, just like the little design that y'all see around my screen. I had to make, and that take all that stuff takes time. It really does. So, any money that you guys donate to the channel, it just goes back into this, and it makes it nice. So, thank you. Yes. Well, Calabash and I, we've got some things coming up too. I think that we're going to be doing some teaching classes. It may not necessarily be a webcam class, but it may be on some of these programs that you guys were asking about, and maybe doing a walkthrough of some sort. I know he's working on that. We've sort of been brainstorming back and forth about it. So hopefully we'll have that stuff coming to you guys real soon. So thank you guys so much. Teach, how long do you get till you get to retire and dig every day? I am right now. I'm 3 years away after this year. I'll be in my mid 50s at that point. So hopefully I can walk away and maybe I can go to just doing this and bringing y'all more content and that kind of stuff. So would love to do that. That's sort of my goal, is to mainly do metal detecting. So yeah, be really good. Need to get you a green screen too. Yeah, but believe it or not, I didn't even show y'all this, but StreamYard actually has a thing where you can change the background. What do y'all think? Do y'all like that? Yes, a behind the scenes making of the show. I don't know. Calabash, I can move around a little bit, but y'all can sort of see this is sort of the knockoff version of what Calabash has. Yeah, that's the plantation. You're exactly right. So I took it and put it up behind me. Yes, thank you, Bells. We enjoy bringing you guys content. We enjoy sharing information. There's so many knowledgeable people on here too. It's just a great way to get information out there to everyone, and I'm glad everybody stops by. Yeah, Dan, you can go. You can definitely go. You teach me how to do some of the LiDAR stuff you're doing, and maybe that'll happen. And then, hey, I'd love to go to your permission too. That would be nice as well. So, but anyway, I thought I'd show y'all guys that. That's the virtual background that you can do, and you can set it up however you like. Yes, apple orchard. Yeah, no, that was actually a row of magnolia trees for the site that I've been hunting. Lance says that my GoPro is set on my 22 rifle to get squirrel kills on videos. Oh, wow. You and Sharpshooter have a lot in common. All right. Right. You're a lucky man, 3 years. I've got another 6. Yeah. But even then, and you guys know this, you guys that are in my age bracket, that if I retire, then, I'm still going to have to do something else, for a little while. And hopefully that something else will be something along these lines, but that would be nice. Need to see some ducks smoking coals behind you. Yeah, Calabash has got those going on too. All right. All right. I will, Dan. I will. I'll call you. Sharpshooter. I know. You guys are rough on poor Garrett. Thank you guys for the somebody. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes. Just got your 13-inch coil for the Deus II yesterday. Found 2D buckles and some other relics with it today using a harness, so weight isn't an issue for you. Right. I'm telling you, and None Your Business. I like that. It's a great name. None Your Business. The 13-inch coil is really good, especially if you're hunting in open areas. I'm curious. Were you dealing with iron, or were you just hunting in an open field with that 13-inch coil? Some people even say that 13-inch coil separates, pretty good. I've never tried it because I just wouldn't think a big coil would do that well. So, but thank you, None Your Business, for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank y'all. 19 months away from retirement, Bobby. Well, you're almost there, buddy. Hang in there. You're going to get out of there, and we're going to have to get together and go metal detecting. Brad Wilson said that he's thinking of coding a detector game. Anyone interested? Sounds interesting. Finders Keeper says, yeah, that big coil works well. And None Your Business just said he got it today and dug 2D buckles right off the bat with it. That's really cool. Jim Pugh says, awesome. Andrew, again, loved the 13. He thinks it separates well too. Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw my video about all the iron that I was in. I don't know how the 13 would do and all that iron that I was in the other day, but it's a great machine, and the XP Deus 2 is to me by far the best unmasker and has the best separation of any machine out there. That's just my opinion though. Some people may feel different, but that's where I'm at with it. Chris says he retired last April, had to go out and get a part-time job. Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to work. I mean, I wish I could say, hey, I could just walk away from everything. But yeah, I get it. None Your Business. Plenty of iron. Former church site, cornfield now. Okay. Well, that's really good, buddy. Congratulations. And again, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Jay Strongbow, been retired for 5 years. It's been detecting 6 days a week in good weather. Freaking awesome. Jay, that's how I want my retirement to be. That's exactly how I want it to be. Thank you guys. Lance McElwain and Metal Detecting Game with you and Calabash dressed like Mario and Luigi. I guess I would. Who would be Mario and who would be Luigi? That's the question. Andrew says he's retired at 55. Andrew, so jealous of you, buddy. So congratulations. And I know you're enjoying your retirement as well. Pinpointing with the 13 inch is a little more cumbersome than, yeah, I'm sure it is. But that's great though. If you were able to pull something out of iron with that 13-inch coil, that's really good. That's really good. Definitely. You must have had your ears on for sure to pull those D buckles. T and Sharpshooter retired 20 years ago. This April 15th, been having fun since. I know Sharpshooter. Dan's been retired for 20 years, but sell real estate on the side. Andrew says, I detect 4 to 5 days a week, play guitar 7 days a week, trout fish. Wow, Andrew. That sounds like a good life right there. You guys come to Arkansas for Treasure Fest 6 Hunt. Would enjoy seeing you guys. I'd love to go to Arkansas. She retired the squirrel started a self-help support group. That's good. That's good. Very good. Oh, yes, I know. That's a tough situation. My dad has a little bit of dementia too, so I'm dealing with the same things. My dad has a neurological disease as well, and so I can relate to what Brad just said. Yes, I'm sure, Brad. I'm sure. Okay, guys. Well, we've almost been on here for 2 hours, and I think it's about time to sign off. My wife's probably wondering what in the world I'm doing, but it's been a great live. Thank y'all for all of you that gave super thanks, super chat. I appreciate it so much. Hopefully, you guys learned something tonight. I just enjoy being with you guys, talking about these things. It's a lot of fun. And again, Calabash and I are going to be hunting tomorrow. So we should have a video up. He'll probably have one up tomorrow night. It might be a couple of days for me. And hopefully we find something, because I struggled for a little bit. As good as that plantation was, I struggled a little bit. It's a really weird site. So, but anyway, maybe I can get back on something good and so on. So yeah, a lot of fun times in here, guys. Everybody in here is so top notch, and we've got some really good people in here too. You just heard a story that sort of indicates that. So again, if you didn't hit that like button, hit that like button before you leave. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. If you're not a follower or a subscriber to my channel, please like and subscribe if you can. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you again for those of you that donated tonight. I appreciate that as well. And you guys are great. And I look forward to seeing y'all very soon and seeing you on my next adventure. So take care, guys. See you soon. Have a great and restful rest of your weekend. We'll see you guys.